What's going to Mike here again? There's been a lot of questions. I've gotten a lot of emails, especially Instagram messages regarding Gen A and the 300 horsepower 305 K20, K24. Everyone wants to know how we did it, how cheap it was, the pricing, and all that jazz. Okay, very, very simple build. Unfortunately, we didn't really get a rundown of the max speeding rods intake manifold. We have 305 horsepower with the center feed intake manifold with the 90 mil throttle body, and that netted us a gain of 305 horsepower before any change in timing. There was actually only fuel changes. Unfortunately, our alternator took a crap because we over revved it. We revved it like almost 10,000 RPM, like 9,800 RPM. So we weren't able to the alternator was failing, so we didn't really get any more power runs out of that. The power went down about 15 horsepower because our voltage dropped below 12 volts. So if you guys are wondering, that's why we didn't really continue with that. We didn't have another alternator, and we're running the dyno by the hour, so we kind of stopped there. So if you guys are wondering, I'm going to go down the list of all the builds. There's going to be links down below to links to parts that we used on the car or similar to it. Max spinning rods, intake manifold, and with that setup we were able to get an 11.03. Let's go! Woo! At the track, we backed it up time and time again. We could have got that 10 seconds, but Carlos decided to put a stupid ass wing on it. That's like the little EG duckbill stupid thing. And then it took 2 mile an hour out of our quarter mile. So we were doing 121 mile an hour. And then with the duckbill spoiler, it knocked 2 miles an hour because it was like downforce. We went 119. So that was dumb. And nothing's changed. Okay, the car was all over the place, but we know this is a 10-second car. So we decided to upgrade to the center feed intake manifold. 305 horsepower, it probably, with a little bit more, I'd probably be able to get, I don't know, 315, 320 out of it. Cylinder head. The cylinder head was ported by Carlos. We have Skunk 2 tuner cams stage 3, okay? These are $400 cams you can get. They're not the new fancy ones, they're the low end. That was plenty. I've seen other guys that ran IPS and all these other fancy camshafts, but they're around the 300 horsepower range. You know what I mean? So we were able to do that on Skunk 2 tuners that put in the cheapest. I went for the cheapest, highest lift cam I can get, okay? And there's actually a PDF on the internet. I'm gonna have links down below that you can basically view all the specs of the camshafts. And they list like the lift, the duration, the cost. So I picked the one with the highest lift with the least amount of costs, which was the stage 3 Skunk 2s, okay? We used Skunk 2 tuner cams, and we also used TRC titanium retainers, as well as SuperTech valve springs, okay? These are the 90-pound springs or something like that. These are 80-pound springs. So that's pretty much it for the cylinder head. The intake manifold, as you can tell, we use an excessive center feed. Before that, we use the max speeding rods. It's kind of like a Skunk 2 RBC copy. We poured it as well. Very cheap intake manifold, 150 bucks or something like that. You're gonna find a lot of work went into it as far as hand porting, but if you don't have the money, you can hand port it. You're gonna have a nice flowing intake manifold that's good for a 10-second pass, okay? Throttle body, we use some knockoff 70 mil throttle body one with an adapter. And then the intake piping, we use like a 90-degree one from eBay, like a 3-inch with a eBay velocity stack, okay? Header, if you guys are wondering about header design, we used a megaphone header. If you guys are wondering, links are gonna be down below for any of these parts, okay? There are 2 different types. There's a tri-Y design where it goes 4, 2, and then 1. Instead, we went 4 to 1. 4 to 1 is going to give you a lot more higher end power. just for the flow design of it, okay? The Tri-Y is good for mid-range, but if you want for drag racing, it's gonna be the best. Megaphone 3-inch header, knockoff one. It looks like a eBay Megaphone header. Works phenomenal. I know a lot of people think, if you guys are wondering, the hood exit is kind of like, the hood exit stuff is more so because of subframe clearances with the K-Series. They don't necessarily make any difference. I wouldn't say any difference, but not as much power difference as you think, okay? As long as the diameter of the piping on the header is larger, you're gonna gain horsepower. So it doesn't matter if it flows under the car or over the car, they're pretty much in the same realm, guys. So for those of you that think hood exit's gonna give you more horsepower, it doesn't, okay? Let's see. Bottom end, Type S oil pump kit, okay? You're gonna need it. You're gonna need it to rev that high. We revved it to 9,800 RPM was the red line, was the rev cut, I mean, and took it like a champ. We broke down the engine to look at the bearings and everything like that. The car performed. We didn't really see any major damage. We had Chris take a look at it. The bearings weren't that messed up or anything like that. So it handled it like a champ. Type S oil pump you're gonna need. We used TSX rods. TSX rods are stronger. You've seen some of the other channels that they put like 600 horsepower through these things, okay? They can handle the abuse. We're doing half the amount of power. I don't know about torque-wise, but we're doing half the amount power-wise. Those rods are good. I use TSX ones because they are a little bit more stout, but for some odd reason, I'd rather go with a beefier rod for strength. And then we used a kind of a knockoff OEM cast piston. These were like Type S cast pistons. Got us around the compression ratio of maybe like, with the stock head gasket, maybe around 13 compression or something like that, you know. Low 13 compression. It's nothing crazy, nothing high like 14 or whatever like that. So the power, once you put a K20 head on a K24 block, the compression ratio like raises by like half a point or like more than half a point. I'm not 100% sure. The Zeal calculator, if you want to do your compression ratios down, but I'm gonna put a link in that description as well. What else? I got a list here. I did the block, cylinder head, oil pump, header intake. That's pretty much it. Very simple build, guys. 300 horsepower is a monster. 10-second car for sure with the the upgrade and intake manifold. Okay, like we said before, we were running the knockoff intake manifold 11.0. That's pretty freaking good, guys, for a budget build. I spent less on this car than the Pink Widow. It's ridiculous, like way less, just because there is more. There is like less moving parts, right? Less things you have to buy. You don't have to buy a wastegate. You don't have to buy a turbo. It's just header, intake, manifold, and intake. That's it. So we're pretty proud of it. We're gonna wait till the track opens up and get some good temps in order to run it with the center feed. Intake manifold. We fixed the issue with the battery and the alternator. If you guys want to know an update on Gen A, but that's it, guys. The list of everything, the build's gonna be down below. The elevation of Vegas is close to like 4,000, 4,000 feet of elevation here. So the car will be quicker in Cali, the car will be quicker in Florida. All y'all racing though. Yo, shout out Jersey, New York, the people that watch us, Georgia, New Jersey, New York, Florida, Cali, NorCal, SoCal, Vegas. All y'all for watching us. I'm gonna start doing some more giveaways as well, but just sharing knowledge, guys. I really want the competition to increase, guys. Motorsports, as you guys see what's happening with the scene, with like PFI and all that jazz. Like, listen, guys, none of the YouTubers really beef. The only problem is their fans or whoever watches them like talk shit on their behalf, and it causes this division. Listen, I'm in motorsports, okay? I build motors and we race cars and this and that. I have customers. What we're trying to do right now, guys, is have the level of competition going up. Everyone's all hush hush and secret about it. We're dropping this knowledge because we want to race, guys. We want people to go out there, have fun, be safe about it, go to the track, go far away, do your own little thing. You know what I mean? But if we don't get cars running right, if we don't get our cars on the track, on the street, running right, people have a negative view about imports or all that money that they spent. So I'm dropping knowledge, I'm dropping gems, so you don't have to spend your dollar more than once. You can go out there with confidence and say, this works, okay? This works. Letting you guys know, as far as the engine's concerned, we spent, I'd say, the long block, less than like $1,400–$1,500 on this engine, guys. Screaming, 300 horsepower beast, and off-the-shelf parts. It's nothing custom, nothing crazy. OE aftermarket cast pistons, so nothing fancy. Cheap as shit. You can go on eBay right now. They're like 60, 70 bucks, okay? Stock crank, stock TSX rods, stock oil pump, you know, Type S is a OEM oil pump. $300 header, intake manifold, 150 bucks. Okay, intake, I spent $30 with some piping, and then you have a velocity stack, was probably like 20 bucks. Okay, nothing crazy. The cams, 400 bucks. Skunk 2 tuner cams. Okay, stage 3, cheap, 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 cheap. Nothing crazy. Build one. Links down below. Call us out. Have fun. Let's race. Until next time, guys. Until next videos, please like and please subscribe. All of our stuff is down below. Shout out the lab. Shout out everyone who's watching. Thank you guys so much. Put out more content. We're gonna go faster. We got like 4 or 5 cars to debut, guys. Things that are getting ready. I'm trying to up the content. We're taking a little break just to give you quality content instead of, I don't know. I don't want to drop things until they're ready. So we got a lot of things under the works. It keeps our crew wanting to go faster because you guys pay attention. We're dropping the knowledge of what we learned, giving you the gems that you want in order to go fast. So we built it, 300 horsepower K series, K24, ridiculous, cheap as hell. I don't care what y'all say. You all see what we can do. I got receipts of everything. It's crazy. Now I want you guys to build it. I want you guys to go out there, build your beast of a K-Series engine. We'll see you out in the streets. Until next time, guys. Peace.